one of the fastest ways I've ever discovered is to get somebody off of one track of thinking and start getting them to start believing something else is, you've heard of the Kubler-Ross grief model before,
No.
where it's like denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And those are like the 5 stages of grief that we all go through. It's debated maybe on Wikipedia or something, but I subscribe to it, and I've witnessed it a bunch of times. Conversationally, you can walk someone through those 5 stages of grief without them even knowing that they're going through that process, and get them to like relinquish control over like a previously held belief or a previously held, whatever you want them to get rid of. And it is so fast. I've used it in interrogations before, and I've used it in just situations where I want to get somebody's mind to change on anything. So if I think of something like you have a belief of X and I want to change it, like you're holding on to this belief. Let's say I'm a door-to-door sales guy and I'm selling you solar.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get you out of the mindset that like solar is for X number of people or this type of person. All I have to do is get you to denial. I say 1 or 2 things to get you angry. Then I start talking about like the different options that you have and get you into a bargaining mindset, and then talk about how all of your options are limited and like everything is so far out of our control, and like push you into depression. And then I get you into acceptance 1,000 times easier, 1,000 times faster. So one of my clients owns a solar roofing company out on the West Coast, and he owns a company that goes kind of door to door. And I gave this to him. I didn't know if it would work in this situation, but they use this in door to door sales now, and they can just not wipe it, but get someone over their emotional ties to something that they held previously.
Wow.
It's a fascinating thing, just identifying that grief cycle. And then I'm not just looking at it as a psychologist or a psychiatrist and like, oh, this is what humans go through. I'm looking at it as like, oh, that's what humans go through. Why don't I just make you go through it and get you out of something that you used to be in?
Interesting. Are there certain types of neighborhoods he targets? Do you target neighborhoods of people that are suggestible, not necessarily rich neighborhoods, because these people are going to be like not going to take any bullshit?
I don't know. I think they do target high net worth people.
Really?
I think they do those neighborhoods for sure, because I know he's got a lot of those clients. Man, he's the most interesting dude ever. You should have him on the show. I don't know if he would talk about aliens and stuff, but he's a cool dude. But that grief model was so powerful in understanding, what shapes our behavior and what can change our behavior. Because all the evidence, everything that you need to know is out there. There's all these studies of like, this is how humans process this. This is how humans respond to authority, like we talked about. Mm-hmm. But even more important than that is, if we could kind of get on this influence train for a second, and this goes back to all this conspiracy stuff and how people get wrapped up in it, is everything that you look at, like if you search YouTube right now for influence training or persuasion or how to have confidence or charisma, fill in the blank, whatever you want, they're going to teach you how to change someone's thoughts and ideas. But if you can get down to the mammalian brain, now you're changing identity. So identity is what you truly want to change. You want someone to finish a conversation by in their head saying, I am the type of person who blank. Not I think blank, but I am. You want them to make an I am statement. Robert Cialdini's done studies on this and written books about it. He wrote Persuasion, which was a great book about it. But so much of what people think influences us is what influences a human brain, not what influences the mammalian part of our brain, the limbic system, this lower part of our brain. If someone can influence that in any of us, and myself included, I don't have some influence vaccine, like I'm as suggestible as the next person. If I can get to how I influence a mammal, which we were talking about this before we hit record, if I can influence the mammalian part of the brain, I can get somebody to do just about anything. And that's in that model that we talked about, or that we brought up on screen. Yeah.